Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything with a very thirsty Dr. Sarah Shell, the TNT. How are you doing?
Good, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, you had such an impression on everybody. You came out and you absolutely destroyed Audra Cummings, and then we're like, oh, we're gonna see this girl again. And then you've been gone for a long time. Like, where have you been?
Yeah, I mean, just work, family, and just waiting to really get back in there. So just staying ready. I had a lot of holes that I think I exposed in my game, being new to the sport for my first fight, and I'm just ready. I'm just really ready to get back in there.
Okay, so you and I were talking beforehand. Like, you've actually you're really dedicated to this fight. Like, what have you went like? What preparation? Like, what have you done extra out of the norm to get ready for this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I think hey, sweetheart. Sorry, I'm at a park. There's kids.
No, you're
um,
good.
yeah, I mean, I think just learning, what I needed to work on in my first fight. I mean, you never really know what you need to work on until you get in there, I think. And I'm a strong believer of you just got to kind of do it to learn what you got to focus on. And that was my first boxing fight. And so really for the last year and a half, I've been, really focusing on perfecting my craft when it just comes to boxing and working on just becoming a better athlete. So I'm always looking to work on my cardio and become a better athlete. And my last fight was at 125 pounds. So this time, when I have to cut to 115 pounds, I'm a lot stronger, faster. I'm just a whole different athlete.
So you're one of those people that's adamant that you don't want to fight up. Like, you want to fight at your proper weight. Is 115 good for you? Or there's quite a few new girls that came in that said they actually want them to add them weight, like a 105. Is that something that you're interested in too?
No,
Or
I definitely couldn't go lower than 115. I mean,
okay,
I think I fought at like 110 one time at like MMA, but like 115 is definitely my comfort zone where I'm at. Naturally, my body just likes to be really like lean and skinny. I mean, I love to build muscle, so I more comfortably like to walk around 135, 140.
okay.
But no, when it comes fight time, 115 is the weight that I feel fastest, strongest, and just best at. 125, the last fight I took that at because I only recently stopped nursing my third child, and so I didn't know how the weight cut was going to be, and so I just agreed to do it at 125. But no, that's definitely not the weight that I feel best at.
Okay, so you closed down you're a doctor, like you're a doctor mom, like but you shut down your practice at the moment, right? You're strictly focusing on
Yeah,
BKFC.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That's not something that I did for my last fight. My last fight, I just I worked all the way through until my flight had to leave. This fight, I've closed down my clinic for the last 4 weeks up until my fight. Of course, I'm still seeing patients that I absolutely have to see or that need me to do certain procedures. So I think my clinic right now it's like an hour in the morning and an hour at nighttime, and then all in the afternoon. It's all closed right now, just so that I can focus on my training. And so that's kind of a luxury to be able to have, but it's really transforming my focus and my game into I think what we'll see on May 17.
How do your patients feel about having a doctor who fights? Like, I feel like you're one of those doctors that puts their money where their mouth is. You know what I mean? Like, you're all
Yeah.
about health and wellness, and they gotta love it.
Yeah, you know what? My patients are really supportive. I mean, with fighting, you're always gonna meet some people who just don't understand it. But my patients they know I'm not violent. They know I don't want to hurt anyone, and they try their best to understand. And no, I mean I think my patients love it. I think it's hard to take fitness advice or health advice. At least for me, it's hard for me to listen to a doctor who maybe doesn't work out themselves.
Sure.
And so I think when I tell my patients you got to work out or you got to do this, or I give them just matter of fact and just say like this is what's happening with your health, and if you don't do this, like this is what's going to happen. And I think it just they trust me and they believe me because they know I'm on the same journey as them, and I'm putting in the work outside of my work as well too.
Okay, so you're a doctor, you're a mom, you're a fighter. How do you find balance for all that?
You know what? You never really do. I mean, you just kind of just go with the flow. You know what you have to do, and you just get it done. That's the best way that I can describe it. Just I know what I got to do, and I just got to get it done. Of course, a lot of it is planning ahead. Planning my day ahead. Teamwork with my husband, of course. Who's going to take the kids, who's going to pick up the kids. What's happening. So a lot of communication, of course, with my husband and with the kids. But no, I mean, this is the life that I've done. I mean, I've been fighting since I was 21 years old. So this isn't anything new to me. And yeah, it's just part of my life. Once I have a fight, my training just gets that much more intense. But I'm always training. I'm always in shape. And I'm just always ready to go.
So what did you decide you wanted to be first, a doctor or a fighter?
Um, you know what? They kind of both came at the same time. I got into fighting kind of right when I started, getting into college. And I just always knew that, I always prioritized my education. I just knew that, if ever I wanted to do fighting, I'm going to have some sort of job that allows me to be able to do it. And so I just, I naturally transitioned into healthcare just because as a fighter, I was always trying to look at, how do I get more healthy? What supplements can I do? Like I'd be chugging
Sure.
fish oil, before sparring practice to like get like the ultimate cardio, and I never really knew that I could just like test labs and really optimize your health, like according to like what's under the hood and what the labs say. And so, yeah, all throughout my 20s, I was just, randomly trying to see what would naturally improve my cardio. And now, like, I've got the lab work. I've got, I get cost price supplements. Like, I get doctor privilege in really, like, shaping up this machine now. And so, yeah, that's why I say, like, my job really complements being able to fight. Now, I mean, as most people know, like, pro fighting, it's not that much money. Like, I'm basically paying to be able to fight, really, when it comes down to all the investments that we have to make into it. And so, yeah, I just kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, like I love my work and how it all kind of naturally transitioned into fighting.
Okay, so what or who inspired you to get into fighting?
Um, there's no one really. I mean, I kind of got into fighting randomly. I really I didn't train when I did my first fight. I just worked at a supplement store, and someone said like a female fighter pulled out and they needed a fighter in 12 days. So I was like, okay, like I'm fit and like let's do it. And then kind of history after it's just history after that. I just fell in love with it after that. And so there's nothing really, it was just one of those things that once I started training and once I started competing, you just get stronger mentally and physically. And of course there's things in my life that, it ultimately helped me be mentally and physically stronger for, at some point in your life, you realize that, it's only you, you're the only person you can depend on. And so, your health becomes very, very important to focus on. And mixed martial arts is just one of those ultimate mental and physical challenges that for me, it translates into everything that I do in life. And so, starting it randomly made me realize that I need this for life. Like it just makes me stronger for every unexpected thing that pops up in life. I just love mixed martial arts. I think that everyone should really dabble in it, whether you're going to compete in it or not. It's just
Sure.
it just translates well into everything in your life.
So what are you more passionate about, like the mixed martial arts and the boxing stuff, or the? I know you're really into like the fitness modeling and the. I
Yeah.
guess the.
Yeah, my
Uh,
coach was asking me when I'm going to do a bikini competition, but the thing is, like, when I'm cutting down to 115, like, the first thing that goes is my butt. So, I can't really, do the crossover of bikini right now when I'm seriously cutting to 115 and wanting to stay at the 115 division, just because you need that muscle and those curves. And unfortunately, I lose those when I'm cutting to 115, but that's all good. But definitely, I'm prioritizing the boxing. I really want to make a go at this. I love my background in MMA. It afforded me a lot of experience, but I was always a striker. I was always that person who any of my opponents, their game plan was to take me down, and that was the smartest way for them to go because I've always just been a striker. I'm a natural born striker. And so I've always wanted to do a boxing fight. It's always been on my bucket list. Not necessarily bare knuckle, but it's one of the opportunities that people would kill for. People love would there's a lot of people who would want to be in my position and be fighting for
sure.
BKFC. It's a huge organization, and it's an amazing place to be. And so I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky that it fell into my lap to be able to fight for BKFC. And it's always something that I've wanted to do, and yeah, I mean, it's gloves or not, it's still boxing, and it's really where I wanted to go in the first place. And to touch on that as well too of focusing, I find that the training is a lot easier because with everything that I got going on now, all I got to focus on is boxing, right? So that's the
Sure.
only skill that I got to focus on, and then of course the athlete, but it's really just boxing. Whereas with MMA, like I had to go to BJJ class, to Muay Thai class, you got to go to MMA class. You got to go to a lot of different classes to really
Sure.
own in on all your skills. So I like just the boxing to focus on.
It seems like BKFC's filled up with quite a few girls at 115. Is there anybody else on your radar? I mean, clearly you want a shot at Britton Hart at some point, but is there anybody else on your radar that you're thinking like, I got to work my way up? I mean, you have had the long layoff, but is there anybody that you see like climbing up the ladder that you see yourself after this fight?
No, no, not really. I think the 115 division is still growing. It's still kind of fresh. So no, I don't really have anyone on my radar. Yeah, I'm just looking at this fight ahead, and I mean, I would take any fight at the 115 division. So yeah.
Okay, did you ask to be put on the Omaha card again, or did you just kind of luck out with that? Like, what's the deal with the Omaha and your connection?
Yeah, I mean, so I did my undergrad in Omaha, so all of my
Okay,
MMA fans are in Omaha. That's where I'm known
sure,
for fighting in Omaha, and so yeah, I think they like to have me there when they have an Omaha card,
absolutely.
and yeah, it just worked out that way. I was actually supposed to fight in February on a different card, but it just fell through. And so
Okay.
we've been waiting for this. I've been keeping my weight down. It's like I'm just ready to go.
Okay, so you train out there in Arizona. Like who do you train with, and then how did you get discovered by BKFC?
Yeah. So, gosh, how did I get discovered by BKC? So, just being well known in Omaha, and they had, it was either their first or second card in Omaha.
Okay,
And then my name just came up because I was looking to get back into either MMA, or boxing, and then the BKFC just had an offer for me in Omaha. So it just naturally worked, as I was looking to get back into either MMA or just something that was available. Um, Sorry, what's the other question?
uh, you have such great. How did you get discovered? Oh, who coaches you? Where
Oh
do you
yeah, so coach.
train?
Okay. Oh, my coach. Oh, my coach is so awesome. I'm so lucky to have my coach. He's right by my house, like literally like one block away from my house. It was actually a
Perfect.
referral from one of my patients who was just like, you got to see this guy. Like he'll invest his time into you, and he really has. I train at Pro Edge MMA and boxing, and it's in Phoenix.
Okay.
And my coach is like, I just do privates with him, and he changes his schedule like according to my schedule. So it's like it's really like what I need, like with how busy my schedule is. Like I just need someone to work with me, and I've honestly, like I've never really had like the luxury of a coach to give me like that one-on-one kind of like, this is what you got to work on, this is what you got to do. For my whole MMA career, like it really is just kind of teammates that helped,
Okay.
hold pad for me, or kind of train me. A lot of times, like it was just like a teammate coming with me if I had to train, travel over state or anything like that. It was, largely like you're just kind of training yourself, like doing those amateur MMA fights, and you're just kind of going state to state, banging it out without really any, good coaching behind you. And so, I'm really excited to really move forward with my boxing career, because I really do have a good coach behind me, which I've never really had. And I'm a student who, when someone invests their time into me, like I'm a very fast learner, and that's always what I've wanted to be able to have. But I haven't really been able to speak up and get that, because I've always been the MMA fighter who's in school, right? I'm always taking school more seriously. And so the
Sure.
coaches would always, look at someone who's, maybe not doing anything else other than fighting. Right. And so I was always kind of, not really getting that one-on-one attention throughout my career. And I'm really excited to be getting it right now.
Does your husband like fight or coach or anything, or is he like the lover and you're the fighter?
Yeah, you know what? He's a police officer, and he's
Okay.
going through, he's got a lot of injuries that he's going through. So he's got like back-to-back surgeries of things that he's repairing through right now. So he's a little bit living vicariously through me. But he's going to be in my corner. He's helping me. He coaches me. Of course, he helps in like the monotonous daily tasks that I have in life as well too. But he does play a part as my coach, and he's always in my corner for my fights. And so yeah, I mean he's definitely a good teammate to have for this.
Do your kids know what you do? Like, I know you have a younger kid, but I don't know how old the other two are. But do they
Yeah.
know like what mom does?
Oh
Or
yeah, yeah. No, they love it. They've seen my fight videos. I mean, hundreds and
okay,
hundreds of time. They wanted to watch it live, but my mother-in-law kind of pulled them away right away. You know, once the last fight started. So that
yeah,
was their first chance to kind of try to watch it live. But I'm sure the same thing will happen. They won't be able to watch it live, but they'll be able to watch it the next day. But they're very
okay,
supportive. They come to me. They come with me to training.
okay.
You know, they're very much immersed into the gym life.
Okay, so I mean, are you one of those parents that like if your kid decides to be a fighter, like let's go do that, or would you prefer they follow, like use their mind more, like I usually say?
Yeah, I mean, I think I absolutely think that they should be in some sort of athletic kind of activity. It doesn't really matter to me what that is. I just think that they got to be into some physical activity.
Sure.
And then I mean, I always have. A little bit of a stronger pull towards valuing education.
Okay.
So in whatever aspect that means, I do want them to of course like get good grades and value their academic skills. But I do think that it's important to have some sort of physical activity or goal or fitness thing going on in your life in the background. There's there's too many smart people out there that their bodies are just like noodles, and they're not exercising the body,
Right.
right? You can only go so far by being, like mentally strong or mentally, smart. But if you're not mentally strong, it's kind of like, what's the point? And
Sure.
physical activity is ultimately what drives that.
Okay, so every time that there's a big BKFC event, we always get like the new people going like, "Hey, I want to train bare knuckle. Like, what do I got to do?" So somebody, a young lady joins and says, "I want to get into it." What advice would you have for her? Like, what would be the path that you set her down?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I guess that the BKFC has it set up pretty good where they have those tryouts. So I
Okay.
think that would probably be one of the best ways to do. It's hard for me to say because I got so lucky. Like back in the day, like in 2010, like anyone could fight. Like you just say like you want to fight and you get in. It's not so
Yeah.
much like that nowadays. Like you got to have a coach and really work the steps to get in there. So I know that for MMA at least and things like that, it's a little bit trickier than it was back in the day. We were just kind of fighting out of our garage back in the day, and they let anyone fight.
Right.
But yeah, nowadays, of course, like get a coach and really be consistent. And yeah, like if you really want to fight, like you're gonna get it. You just got to be serious about it and show up to training. And yeah, with BKFC, I really like how they have the tryouts. So I think that's one of the better ways for women and men to get exposed and get out there.
Okay, so usually my last question is, do you remember the first time you were in a street fight? The first time you punched somebody out of anger? Usually it's elementary school, but I mean, like the last time, or I guess the first time you ever punched someone, like got in a fight. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever really been like in a fight. Like I was always the one where my girlfriend might like bump someone at a bar, and like I'd be the one like standing behind them, just in case anything went down.
Yeah,
But like I never really had to do anything. I've never really been a violent. I'm not a violent person at all. Of course I don't want to hurt anyone.
sure.
It's just part of the game. At least when we're out there. But no, I mean, I've never really been in a fist fight that I can really recall, and I'm sure I would have remembered. There's definitely lots of close calls, but
Sure.
nothing really. And when I was 17, actually, I was younger than I was supposed to be, but I was working as a bouncer, and they thought I was of age, but that was kind of the closest that I got to kind of like battling. I just put like drunk women in like headlocks, and of course the women's bathroom was upstairs, so I kind of like drag them down. But that was like the
Yeah.
early stages where I was kind of like, hey, like I'm pretty strong as a female, like I'm pretty tough,
Right.
like like so that was like my first kind of introduction to kind of 17 years old as a bouncer, and she's like I'm actually pretty tough, so but by then like I didn't know anything about fighting or anything like that, but I had like the instincts of like I am actually naturally pretty tough and strong, and I can deal with situations and think fast.
Okay, so is there anybody you want to give a shout out to, sponsors or coaches or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give a shout out to my coach always, my coach Santiago at Pro Edge MMA and Fitness in Phoenix. And I mean, just my family, my husband, of course, Ryan, like always my backbone in helping me to be able to do what I do, to be a doctor, a business owner, a mom, and a fighter, and all that. I really have a very supportive husband in the background. And yeah, just I mean, everyone who supports me, I really do get a lot of positive feedback from everyone. I really don't have like haters or anything. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there. Maybe I just
Right.
don't pay attention or something. But like I really do get a lot of good positive feedback for the things that I do. Yeah, I'm really excited to get in there and do this next fight. I'm game. I'm really excited to get in there. And yeah, I just can't wait.
I'm excited too. I'll be in Omaha. I'm cornering Tommy Stridham there, so like hopefully we're in the same corner. That'd be awesome. But
Yeah, yeah,
or in the
yeah.
yeah. But is there any advice you have for a corner guy? I've never done it, so I'm nervous as hell. Like, what
Oh yeah,
advice would you have for me in the corner?
yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, my husband, he gets so nervous, right? And I'm someone who, like, I'm so calm. Like when I go out and fight, like I'm not nervous. I'm not second guessing myself. Like I'm just a machine,
Yeah.
and there are no nerves at all when I'm walking out there. Like that is my comfort zone, and I can
Okay.
feel the nervous energy, right? So my husband, he'll be like, "Do you need anything, Sarah? Like what's going on? Like are you okay? Like do you need a towel? Do you need a drink?" And I'll just be like, "Ryan, like go for a walk. Like go, just go. Like." It's fine, like it's all good. It's just a little fist fight. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. But it's hard. Like I understand being in someone's corner. It's like you can't control it, right? You want the best for
Sure.
them, but ultimately they're in control, and you really can't do anything for them. So I think just the best advice is just stay calm. Listen to what they like. I always tell my corner just help me breathe. Like in mid rounds, just like I just got to focus on breathing and getting
Sure.
getting my breath back and decreasing my heart rate. But other than that, like I think just positive energy, like that's the best thing that you can do as a corner. Just kind of 100% positive energy.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and include a link to your Instagram. Like I said, I love following you. You post like great things. You're always super inspirational. Like you're a wonderful person to follow. And best of luck. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Thanks.